I mean, that's a great change.
No audio?
Uh-oh.
What up? Oh, okay. Apparently we've had no audio this whole time. Well, welcome to Free Play Richardson. You have missed one of the most fascinating discussions of my life.
That's fine. It happens.
Well, no wonder. No wonder people aren't messaging. Hey, if you're in the chat now, we're monitoring it. We always have been, actually. Oh, Mental Lizard almost messaged us. Thanks. We've actually been talking this whole time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we just reset that entire conversation. We're gonna, me and Arthur and Josh and Emily are gonna have another meeting about all this.
I did watch your all's podcast about doing the Billy Mitchell stream and all that, and I think I was very impressed because of all the stuff you all had to do in the background to make it happen. Because, I mean, I asked you, I think I asked you like last Wednesday or Thursday about this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like, on the fly, can you throw this together? Is basically, I was just like, I'm in town if you want to do it, because you had mentioned it last time. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Right, yeah.
And I was just like, I was thinking, man, my first thought was, I hope I left him enough time, because I don't want to have you scrambling to get something together at the last second. But
well, we do this for a living, so it's not like we had to buy any equipment. We have it all.
That's true.
We have it I started with Spring Series back in the day. Streaming this stuff. Wow, it feels like I've had this conversation before. I started streaming this stuff then, and like back then when I started this, I didn't know what I was doing, like at all. I was just holding a camera up, trying to record what was not being recorded, because I felt like it's part of the history of this arcade. Like, this place is being opened up. It was the first bar and arcade with the free play model in the world that I am aware of. It was part of the history. Like, the first Spring Series is recorded partially, and it's all me holding my phone up, and that's it.
So you're a cameraman and producer all at the same time.
And player at the same time. The Joust tournament, I won, and I was recording it, and my arms were on fire. Like, you can see like the camera shaking as I'm trying to hold it.
Yeah, that's. Ooh.
Hi, Cloud, by the way. Yeah. Oh, and if you have any questions, again, feel like I'm being redundant here. If you have any questions in the Twitch chat, I'm monitoring that on my phone. If it slows down, I'll switch back over to the YouTube chat and check that out. I noticed there wasn't a lot of feedback. I was just like, well, people are just enjoying the show, I guess. I mean, I know people are watching, but so anyway. But yeah, I don't know where I was. An hour into the conversation and awkwardly reset.
Well, let me ask some dumb questions about Miss Pac-Man, if you don't mind.
The sequel to Pac-Man. As Beltran will tell you, it is an illegitimate game in the franchise, as only Pac-Land counts.
You said earlier that you have a Sega Genesis that you got specifically for Miss Pac-Man. Have you ever tried Pac-Man: The New Adventures?
No. I bought it. I bought it just for, it was $20. I was 20 years old. I was out yard selling with my mom, and I was just like, oh, Miss Pac-Man for $20? Yeah, I can do that. And I only play like maybe 3 games on it. Miss Pac-Man, what are the other 2? Volleyball was one. My brother found that one, and I'm not even sure what the other one was. I keep it at home because I had my best friend's sons out with me, and I was like, oh, they want to come to my apartment. I'm like, okay. I mean, there's not that much in my apartment. It's not exactly I'm not exactly rich, high on the hog on the money side. So I was like, oh, so they have I think they have an Xbox. So they come over and they're playing on the Sega Genesis, and they're loving it. I'm just like, I took a picture, sent it to their dad, and was like, yeah, this is where your Xbox sits in their hierarchy. They're playing my Sega. That's right. Because I mean, I was loving it. I thought for sure they would get bored after like 30 seconds, and nope. In fact, one of the younger one who is very, very skilled and very good hand-eye coordination. His name's Chris. He's a pretty good archer too.
We're everywhere.
Ooh. And he's a really good archer too. So you know what? You
got the reaction you were looking for.
Well, it wasn't that close. All right, which one? This is the 4th one. I gotta remember that.
Well, now you got it, and you got a banana. Sweet.
Oh, bananas are good. I
That's
didn't get
2 in a row. Or is it
you're
always
gonna jinx it, Arthur.
Oh, my bad.
Don't tempt the gods.
So is this level 19 or 17?
This is level 17. Level 18 will be next. It'll be
Okay.
the last time they change, and then it's off to the races, basically.
All right. So we were discussing earlier, and I learned several things about Miss Pac-Man, that the first 16 levels all allow you to eat the ghost. Then after that, there's one level where you can't eat the ghost, one where you can, and then you can never eat the ghost again.
Right. That is correct. And, I mean, and the thing is, since there's a kill screen, the ghost, in Pac-Man, the ghosts make up, about the same amount of points, which is about 250,000. Well, out of a perfect game of 3 million, that's not that much. But out of this game, it's almost a quarter of all the points. So, once I realized it was a kill screen, then I realized, oh, you have to get them if you want to really get, insanely high score.
Right.
And at that point, that's when I was like, that's when I kind of started to sort them out a little bit more.
I've never had the personal patience to get to the kill screen, to be honest with you. Like, I kill screened. If someone was paying me to do it, like, I kill screened Galaga on the wrong settings, but, like, I would never play it that long normally.
I actually don't. I probably kill screen about once or twice a week just in practice.
Right, yeah. No, you got to. Like, you're a world record range. You need to.
Well, you have to stay sharp. I mean, because I stopped playing for about 2 years, just because I stopped going to the bowling alley where I played normally, and I didn't even realize that there was a Miss Pac-Man at the laundromat across the street from me. So there's a Miss Pac-Man, literally a 1-minute walk from my apartment, and I didn't know about it. I'm like, and then one day they had the door open because it was a nice day, so they had the door open to kind of keep things fresh and air out the place. And I look over and I could just see the side of the game's all I could see, and I was like, I know what game that is. I mean, it's like that. Oh, I can look. I look when I travel and I find arcades. I'm looking for Miss Pac-Man.
I get visibly angry whenever I go to a pizza place and it does not have Miss Pac-Man. I have walked straight out of a pizza shop and been like, I can find another one with Ms. Pac because it's not pizza if Ms. Pac is not there to bless it as she does.
Well, it's definitely one of the most prolific arcade games of all time.
I think, and this is one of the things I would point. I was like, I got lucky because I got really good at probably one of the most popular games of a classic arcade games. That's something, everyone knows this game. I don't think there's anybody who hasn't played either Miss Pac-Man or Pac-Man, and so it's just by chance that
he's that guy from Smash Brothers. Sorry, things you hear working in an arcade in 2019.
A lot of the Smash Brothers Pac-Man animations are from either Pac-Land or Pac-Man: The New Adventures, which is kind of hilarious. The two worst Pac-Man games where they took a lot of the inspiration for that character.
Especially Pac-Land.
I saw the run on that on the YouTube. I saw his run. I was watching. I was like, "What is this? This isn't a Pac-Man game.
It's insane.
What the hell? Like, what is this thing?"
I mean, actually, like it's not my Pac-Man. That's for sure.
Oh,
I am impressed by like the amount of effort that was made in the game. Like, there's clearly like strategy and secrets and stuff happening. Like, it's more than just like. We got the license and made some nonsense. It is nonsense, but like it's nonsense with a purpose. So at least they tried.
Yeah.
Holy cow, it's weird.
Whenever I look to travel, I do look through the pictures of arcades because I was like I said, there's 30 arcades.
Hey.
I found 30 different arcades in the Dallas. Well, not Dallas, in the Texas, and all over. A couple in Houston. Fort Worth has, the general area is probably 20 or so. I mean, they're obviously the most of them are in here, but it's always interesting when you get to a smaller town because some small towns have some really good arcades. You just have a person who, just loves this and they build, maybe 20 games.
Well, yeah, and that's all you need. Like, you don't. Well, like if you have 20 well-maintained games in your arcade, that's heaven for me. I'm not going to play more than 20 games.
I will say that arcade in Dayton, the one that had the kit on the Miss Pac-Man, which allowed me to play beyond the normal kill screen, which, I'm tempted just to see how far I could go. He won't stay open for 80 hours for me, unfortunately, but he would. But he's open for 12 hours. My brother also, it's a good place to meet my brother. He had about 20 games, real small room. And, like, I remember one of the problems is that me and my brother do cuss. And so, we're kind of dropping some f-bombs, and we're not doing it too loud, but the room was so quiet, and it was like an echo chamber.
Right.
And I finally had to look over, and I figured this out because I got there first and started playing first. I had to look over and say, hey, it doesn't matter how quiet you say it, everyone can hear it, so you might want to watch it. And so we both kind of watched ourselves after that, but it was just like, but they had 20 games, but they had Millipede, Centipede, Asteroids, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Galaxian. He had such a good collection. He had a driving game. He had 4 pinball games. He had just a perfect collection.
Yeah, curated.
Yeah, and it's like he wants to grow. And I'm like, well, my first thought was if you grow, as long as you keep the balance between those types of games.
It's a really hard line to draw, like the curation. I know it's something that's paramount on Corey's mind all the time when we're designing new free plays. It's just getting that mix right and making sure it's right. And making sure. I mean, obviously, a sped up Ms. Pac is required in every location, and it is.
And I appreciate that.
Right, and the normal speed Ms. Pac, the slow speed is not welcome. But
I will say I have a lot of respect
stated.
for people who can do the slow speed because it is a lot longer of a game.
I have respect for them as a gamer. I don't want to play the game.
I totally agree with that. And the worst is when I go somewhere and they have the slow version. Or I'll check, especially if they have a high scoreboard. If I see the high scores, because usually people post this kind of stuff, and so I'll check and I'll look and I'll see the score, and I can usually figure out pretty quickly if it's the fast. If it's over 100,000, it's the fast version. No question about it, because
so hard.
Very few people can do over 100,000 on the slow version. There were 2 arcades in Illinois that I wanted to stop at. I still want to go to them and check them out, but they're low on my list because both arcades have the original slow version, and I'm just like, why? I'm like, okay, but their high scores are in the 50,000. I'm like, well, that's fine.
I've said this before on my thoughts on the speed versus the non-speed. The creator of Pac-Man has made more games since Ms. Pac-Man came out. Not that he made Ms. Pac-Man. This was Crazy Otto, and then converted. An American programmer made this game. But the speed chip was put in, I assume, by American arcade operators back in the day.
Oh, I have no doubt.
I'm thinking it originated in America, but I don't know that for 100% fact. Who actually put the speed-up chip in for the first time, I don't know. But
God bless that person.
Indeed. And the thing is, the creator of Pac-Man has made games since then, and every single one of them that he has made has been at this speed. Like, it's just more fun.
Well, this is the speed that I want to control Pac-Man. It seems so optimal and fun, you know?
Well, I mean, people put a speed chip in Pac-Man, and
if you go play Pac-Man Battle Royale right over there.
Yeah. Faster version.
Yeah. Well, there's no slow version. It increases speed as you play. It's a 5-minute timed game. No, I'm sorry. That's Pac-Man Championship Edition I'm thinking of. But it's still a timed game, and you just keep going fast and accelerating at faster and faster paces. It's just more fun that way.
I'm very impressed with how you dodged the blue guy right there. Like, that was the tightest,
there's a man who wasn't there to watch me play.
I'm gonna say because
I nearly gave David a heart attack earlier.
Yeah, I was watching. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, what's funny is there are times where I'll get the last dot and be right underneath of them, and to me, I know exactly what I'm going for. I know exactly where I need to be, and so it's like. I'm like, that's not that close. I know exactly where the last dot is. I know what I just have to beat the ghost. I have to beat the ghost to the dot. And that's it. Although I will say on Sega Genesis, if you get to the dot and the ghost same time, you die, and then the board ends after that.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's weird.
Different formats, different platforms, I guess.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not. At first time I did that, I was like, that's not cool. Not cool at all. But no, I'm and there are times where you'll graze the bottom of the ghost, and it's. It's like I kind of learned, wherever that hitbox is where you have to hit to die, it's like there's certain times you can graze through them. I do know you can run through them in certain instances. Billy Mitchell, there's a video somewhere
he has
doing
a pattern
that.
Where you can run through them.
Yeah, where I think it has to do with if they're turning, their eyes are looking a certain direction. If they're not looking at you, they can't get you.
Correct.
And that's always a.
It's interesting.
I think I've done it. Well, sometimes I've gotten trapped, and that's exactly what happened. Like I'm just like, oh, God. And
talk about a Lazarus save. You're just like
you go through and you're like, oh,
there's
okay.
a heart attack.
The worst is when you go through and then
you die instantly because you were unprepared for it. Yep.
I'm like, oh, well, that sucks.
That's a true Lazarus save right there. You just don't know. If Lazarus save is a pinball term, and if it bounces on the bottom of the machine and magically comes back up, and you forget to flip the flipper, It just goes right back down again.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
would. Oh, pinball. I love playing pinball, but I am not that great at it or anything. It's just it's one of those things I love. Like I would at Rec Bar, they used to have a sped up. They had a 16-1, and they had a sped up Miss Pac-Man on, so I play it. They got a new one, and they didn't have a sped. They had the two Miss Pac-Mans on the 16-1, both were original. I was like, I looked at the owner, I was like, really?
Well, I'll tell you what. Next time we do this, come out to Free Play Arlington. I hope it's still there. I don't know if it's still there or not. Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man. We had the pinball machine. So, and it is Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man in that version. It's not Ms. Pac-Man.
That's interesting. I'm not sure.
I want to say it's not there right now.
But
dun, dun,
but either way, it's in the collection. It's at a Free Play somewhere. I'm sure.
It'll be out if it's not.
But yeah, it's a pinball. It's Ms. Pac, or sorry, Mrs. Pac, and
What's the score
you can learn that way.
Score's actually pretty good right now. It's on pace to be top, really like close to 900,000 at the end,
See?
based on where it's at.
You need me yapping at you the whole time, so I'm your good luck charm.
Well, I slow down when I'm talking, and on top of slowing down, slowing down helps me kind of not put myself in danger. Because when I'm playing by myself, I tend to take a lot more risk that I don't take.
Did you just go through the strawberry?
Yep, he missed that hitbox.
All right.
You can roll through them. There are times where you, like, especially if you come around a curve, you'll miss it. All right, where's that reverse at?
But yeah, I think I don't know. There's a more casual environment to play it, so you can kind of not necessarily get nervous about it.
When I'm at the laundromat, it's like there's a TV on behind me. I can hear that, which I'm usually listening to whatever's on. If there's football on, I'm listening to that. I mean, on my drive up here, at one point I was just listening to the college football, the college games. They were going on. One of them was a game. The other one was more of a scrimmage against a high school team, I think.
So, Gordon Nelson, thanks for chiming in. I'm in the YouTube chat now. You let me know about the no audio before. I had switched over.
You're up.
Ah.
Yeah, I know.
Done with this. Fine.
What the folks in here?
I'm gonna catch him. It's gonna take me like an hour and a half.
Now the worst if I don't kill screen is I'm probably gonna get a text from my brother. Me and my brother. Oh, here we go.
I didn't have time to flip it.
Yeah, if I don't kill screen, I guarantee my brother's probably listening right now. So kudos to my brother Daryl, because he'll still he'll send me a text, a smart aleck text, probably just telling me what happened. Oh, I guess not to be. Poor Dave. Of course, that being said, when we were at that Dayton arcade, he was going after he wanted to break 1 million in Galaga, and he didn't get it. I'm like, well, Daryl, not all of us can be great world record players at games, It's just, and the funny thing is, though, he actually is a pretty good player at Miss Pac-Man. His PR is like 906,000. He's not a chump by any stretch of the imagination. He doesn't get all the ghosts. And he asked me one time about that. He said, if I'd gotten all the ghosts, do you think it would have been, a lot higher? I said, well, we talked about it, and I said, I'd probably be like a 930, 940 game. He leaves those points because he wants to be able to run. But yeah, he called me up.
Have you eaten all the ghosts in this play?
Yes, I ate all the ghosts. That part is not gone. That's actually one of the things. Like, dying isn't as big of a deal. It's missing points drives me nuts. I can live with dying, but if I miss points, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you can't get them back.
The slow version of the original version of Miss Pac-Man, the world record at one point, I forget when it was broken by 500 points. It was broken by an orange.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. Those games last so much longer, and they go through all that, and then you only beat the record by 500 points, and then someone destroyed it after that.
500 right there.
But what was I saying? Yeah, my brother he's a pretty decent player. We talked about trying to do more things, like go to arcades. He can go after Galaga, and I can go after Miss Pac-Man.
Well, without a kill screen, Galaga is another one of those titles that you're just gonna have to go until you drop dead. I want to say the record is around.
I think my brother. We talked about this last night. It's like 17.5 million.
Yeah, and it takes about 2 hours for 1 million points, so we're talking 34 hours or so to catch it.
There's a guy in Iowa I ran into, Jordan. I forget his last name. But I went out there and they had a high scoreboard, and their high score on their Donkey Kong was like 850. I think it was like 850. guy kill screened it and then just kind of left.
Yeah.
And I reported it, and I went in. I took out the Miss Pac-Man high score. Well, his high score, last I saw, was around 10 million. I mean, he's just a really solid player, and he.
Yeah, there's just more time that I'm willing to commit. Like,
but I mean, I mean, when I went, there was the high score was like 6-7 million. I was like, man, that's
fantastic. And,
I know.
that's a good point to stop it, in my opinion, in Galaga, because you've passed the 1,000,000-point barrier, and you've demonstrated that, like, you know what? Not the lives that I have accrued don't matter. We're not dying.
Well, my brother prefers the original slower version on the trigger. Man, cherries are coming in fast and furious for some reason.
Oh, you're saying it was the quick? Yeah. There's no kill screen on the slower version. It's like you said, it's more difficult. Sorry, that was.
Well, he likes
non-audio part.
Yeah, he likes it because it's more of a challenge, and he said if it's the faster firing version, he said it's basically the arcade up in Dayton, they had an option.
It's like you have a laser beam to take everything out.
Well, there were two different types of settings. One was the speed that you fire, and one was rapid fire. So you just hold the button down.
Yeah.
And if you have the faster version and rapid fire, you're basically playing with a machine gun.
Yeah.
And he said that's really just not that hard.
No.
There we go.
No, not and just playing it normal is not that hard. So it's not a lack of difficulty that you need. And if it's a matter of like, and if I say that out there and people are like, well, I have plenty of a challenge with normal difficulty on Galaga, like good is the answer. Like it should be challenging. It should press you and make you feel like you're playing a game and not just sort of having a recital. Like that's what makes it feel good to freehand a game. So
I mean, I think that well, I mean, it is challenging when you get really good at a game. For me at least, sometimes I forget that like 400,000, 500,000. That's still an impressive score. I just got so used to to me that's for me that's if I get 500,000, that's not a good game for me, because that's really upsetting, because it means I didn't succeed at what I wanted to.
Oh man, I'm elated if I ever get that high, but different standards for different people.
But so has our Pac-Land champion Michael Beltran. He's never actually achieved 500,000. R.I.P. Beltran.
Well,
you'll get there someday.
I mean, one of the problems is my brother's really good at it. So I see, his high score is 96,000. So it's like, oh, it must not be that, not that big of a deal. And but he called me up when he was, he called me up when he was in Lexington, Kentucky. There was an arcade down there called Arcadium. Nice little small place. Only had like 10 games, nothing crazy. They have a good bourbon choice. All the barcades in Kentucky have a good bourbon choice. I will stipulate, if you like bourbons, come on in. They will like. I mean, they have shelves with probably about 60 or 70 of them on there.
It seems like a good spot in the world to get that particular beverage.
I mean, technically, you can only get a true bourbon from Bourbon County in Kentucky. And there actually are rules to it, to how you have to make it.
Is that kind of like that champagne thing where if it's not from the Champagne River Valley, you can call it like sparkling white wine or something?
Something like that. And the thing is
that seems fair.
I think you can get bourbon elsewhere. There's just now rules to it. But some purists are like, if it isn't from Bourbon County, you're just not you're drinking whiskey. You're not drinking bourbon. So, although if you want to drink, I really don't think you're going to care too much. If it's good, it's good, But but they had a contest, and they've been only open about a year, and the contest was highest score wins 2 free men's basketball tickets to UK men's basketball game. It was the year that they went to the NIT, so it was not a good year, but it was the last game against a ranked Florida team. And, of course, my brother calls me up, and I'm like, he went to check it out because the high score was only about 320,000, and he was like, man, that doesn't seem very high, and he gives me a call, and he wakes me up, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he goes, well, the score is turbo. And he goes, and also, just so you know, you get 5 lives starting out. I was like, what? So the best they got at this point is 320,000, and they get 5 lives plus an extra one, so you get 6 lives total. And I go, I was like, Daryl, I've gotten 400,000 points drunk. I think I can get that. He goes, well, I'm going to take first shot. I say, well, you do your best, and I'll be right down to whoop up on you, okay? And like I said, we have a nice little competitive thing for between us at least.
Sure.
And he got to 745,000.
All right.
And then I took it to 760. I didn't have a great game, but I was not with 6 lives. I was just not about to lose that to my brother. And then for fun, I played one more game, went to 830, and And of course, they gave me the tickets. They're like, "You're gonna go, right?" And I was like, "Yeah. I've never been. Rupp Arena it's an experience. Even if you're not a UK fan, I recommend it if you can afford it, because
I mean, it's one of the great temples of college basketball.
I will tell you the only other place if you want the experience. And
Chapel Hill.
Well, I'm a volleyball fan, so I'm gonna throw a volleyball venue out. University of Nebraska volleyball. Now, if you're obviously, I will say, there's still no love lost between Texas and Nebraska. That is clear as day, because I went out there for a little tournament with ranked teams, and one of the ranked teams was Texas. And it did not matter who Texas was playing. The fans for Nebraska always cheer for the other team. Now, I will say they're very smart with volleyball in Nebraska, and they had a 5-setter against Florida. It was 2 top 10 ranked teams, second day. And when they got done, it was a great match. And the fans, as they were walking down through the tunnel, probably about 100 fans around the tunnel, gave a standing ovation to both teams because it was a great match. But they have 4 luxury suite boxes in Nebraska for volleyball. For women's volleyball. I mean, they're a powerhouse, don't get me wrong. But 4, it looks like a basketball arena. And it's just like, it had the same feel as Rupp Arena.
And that does sound a little bit insane, but at the same time, I would love to go see a UConn women's basketball game in UConn at some point.
I want to get down to Texas to watch the Texas women play, and a little shout out to my Cardinals. They knocked them out of the tournament this year in a massive upset. But University of Texas women's volleyball is a phenomenal program, and I'd like to get down to some of these bigger programs and actually watch a home game, because I've been able to go to Minnesota and all these other places, and it's just like watching these top level players play. It's, for me, as a 5'9" white guy who could barely jump. I mean, I'm a decent player, don't get me wrong, but to watch all these women play at such a high level, it's amazing, and it obviously gives me a chance to travel around the country, which gives me a reason to find arcades, which is I love. But but I managed to win 2 tickets to that UK game, and they were lower bowl center court, about halfway up. These were phenomenal tickets.
All right. Sounds like good seats.
They were phenomenal, and I got bored, so I looked on later on, and I could have asked $700-800 for each ticket individually if I wanted to. And I was like, dang. I took my best friend, and I was like, dude, we are never going to see these kind of seats again so long as we're alive, so you better enjoy this. And the best part was he worked at a bar, a little fish house in Louisville, Pastime Fish House. Place looks like a horror film kind of place. You look like you're going to die. You drive in the back of a dirt road. You get back there, you park. It looks like a shack, but somebody's going to kill you in there with a chainsaw. And then you go in. The food's great. I'm being dead serious. It is a great place to eat. The burger's great. I highly recommend it. It takes forever to get, but it's great. But he had to go there and work during U of L games, so he had a UK shirt on over top of a U of L shirt on. And when we get out of the car, he hadn't put his UK shirt on or changed his hat. So I'm like, could you possibly change your hat and your shirt before we get attacked in the parking lot? I really don't want to start an argument here. So we did that, but I mean, and the owners told me later on that guy who was winning the tickets, apparently he was at the bar that night before I got there, and he was being a total D-bag, just pissing them off. They were going to give him the tickets, but they really didn't want to. And he said, man, you and your brother walked in, the greatest thing that ever happened. Because in the middle of my brother's game, the guy came over, and my brother was like 500,000. The guy realized he had no prayer of beating that. And he just looked at them and said, well, F you all, and walked out. And my brother had no idea what's going on. The owners were like, deuces, don't come back. And so I was like, glad I could help you. But yeah. So that's the nicest thing I've ever won. $20 pizza to Wick's Pizza would be the second highest.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right.
You're welcome. How was that pizza, by the way?
Oh, it's very good. Oh, Wick's Pizza is very, very good.
Of course, it's good. It's a pizza parlor that had a Miss Pac-Man.
Right, there you go. Well, that's you don't get to call yourself a pizza parlor without that. Come on now.
That is so true. To me,
that's phony.
It's like a pizza. Well, to me, it's a Pizza Hut, because when I was younger, we always ate Pizza Hut, and so I'm like, Pizza Hut always has to have a Galaga and Miss Pac-Man.
Yep. Accurate.
The Pizza Huts, both of them in my hometown College Station, had a tabletop Galaga, Pac-Man, and an arcade and a bar top Arkanoid. And that was the interesting one, because that one not quite as common.
I mean, that's an interesting game, but the Ms. Pac is required.
Yeah, I always wanted to be good at Arkanoid, but I don't know. Guess I'm not good enough at Trig to play the game.
Oh, he's going after that pair. He wants it. That's 2,000 points.
Come here.
I want him to get that pair.
Well, the concern is
He doesn't want to eliminate another
There-
fruit. There.
Oh!
There he was. It's 200. You don't want that garbage.
That's all right. That's still sad.
You can-
Missed
you
points, but nonetheless, moving on.
we'll in our minds add 200 points to the total.
So that disappeared because the score hadn't.
I'm not sure what exactly caused that, but if you eat too many dots and you're just close enough, it'll do that. It'll pop out. It'll literally hop out for like a second and then just disappear on you. I know that in Pac-Man, the same thing kind of happens with a I had this problem when I was getting to the keys, and if I ran the board too fast, the second key wouldn't show up. And I'm trying to get a perfect game, so I'm like, what in the? And basically, I've come to the conclusion I have to slow down playing it. I have to actually play it.
All right, I'm gonna give it a whirl this time.
I'll make it quiet on the next game because.
Yeah, feel free.
All right. Due to the angle of the camera, we can't quite catch the bottom of the screen with the rotation.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
If I can have another kid, I'll go fix it. I didn't forgot the
Here
stable
we
one.
go.
No,
That's it. I'm out of lives. We're good.
Now you have one more life because you're second.
don't tell him.
Hope Nobel knows.
Guess who I'm throwing on the mic? It's none other than CEO of Free Play Arcade, Corey Hyden himself.
Hey guys,
How's
just
it going,
stopping
Corey?
by for lunch.
We talked
checking
about
this
you
out.
quite a lot without audio.
Luckily no audio. So see,
There you go.
I would.
I was like trying to adjust camera settings and stuff.
I'm still salty.
I didn't even know that y'all
Lots
were.
of good things.
If I knew you were using the cocktail, I would have had them cap it before we used it. But I think most of what we're seeing is like a interesting Christmas light reflection
Yeah. No,
and the
it's-
geometry of the curve. But it drives me crazy.
I could tell you, and we've already discussed this multiple times now. The controls are immaculate.
oh yes, I do love the joystick right now. This is
Well, that's really cool because we didn't do anything for
Well, I checked them out yesterday.
Oh, okay. You
so,
just made sure they were good.
yeah.
I mean, we do run generally on our packs the real stuff, and to be honest, this joystick on Miss Pac has to be probably the best made joystick of all time.
It endures.
That's really what made it last so well. They had these outside in swimming pool, outside underneath little cabanas at swimming pools when I was growing up, and they would still play pretty well. So that's probably why operators loved them so much. They were so easy. No buttons that really matter except for your game start button.
The thing is, I love this game so much that it just doesn't matter the environment for me. I talked about doing it on a cruise not getting to do it on a cruise, but I did it in a resort in Mexico, and their machine was junk. If you wanna frame it versus other Ms. Pac machines, but just getting to play Ms. Pac, still had the CRT monitor and had a joystick of some sort, and I'm good to go.
Well, I remember in an NBC Suites in Corpus Christi.
I did not get a good score in the Mexican resort, by the way.
Well, Embassy Suites, they had an open air lobby, like Embassy Suites normally do, and they had an arcade in the lobby, and there was no gate or anything, but they closed at 9 p.m. and it was 8:55, and I was just about to beat the high score on the machine, which was seriously just 150,000 or something.
oh
See, I came in here
That is
and I
depressing.
distracted everyone.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I messed it up.
all right, Chris, you gotta bring it home.
Wait, I can see
Goodness
both sides.
gracious. I just need to get away from. Yeah, I'm out of here. Just don't have it in me. I just don't have it in me.
It's
All right, here we're going again.
2-player again.
Let's do this.
All
Let's do
right,
this.
2-player. Here we go.
I might have to bounce. Why not? We missed all the grouping talk in the beginning.
I'm cursed in text. I've had, especially here, I've never gotten a kill screen here. And the first time I came
true.
here, that was so irritating because I got everybody here watching. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And I think I died on the second game. I died on the 132. I died one board away from the end, from all the craziness at the end. I was like, really?
Do you feel nervous? Because on my end, it's the opposite. I don't feel enough nerves to pay
I
attention.
don't feel nervous. And what's funny is I feel like I was moving well. I don't like every time something goes wrong. I'm like, ugh. It's just like bad choice, bad choice. Usually it's a reverse that I'm not like. I guess I'm not keeping track of the count in my head. For the time before they do another reverse.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets to the point where they stop changing, that time is. I'm slowing down because we're talking, so that reverse is almost always going to happen, and I'm not taking that into account. Usually when I'm running, I can get some boards done before that, and if I get them done before that, that is, that's about 30 seconds a board.
All right, we're going to go Captain Redundancy here because I'm watching this video later, and I want to learn how to group. So, the ghosts, they act differently. And what's your thoughts on how they act?
Oh, I'm sorry. My brother just texted me. I only saw the first part, but it says you brought embarrassment and shame on your family. Love you, Daryl. Love you.
Shout outs to Daryl.
Yeah, I'll respond later on in private. Oh man.
That's Ms. Pac after hours.
Yeah, that's the joy of having a brother who's pretty good at the game too, although not as consistent. We can't all be going after the world record, I guess. Right, Daryl?
I mean, it's baby steps. Baby steps. You
Exactly.
gotta hit 2 mil on Galaga.
Baby
and
step,
then
yeah.
go from there.
He's working on it. Maybe one day I'll get him down here and we can
You'll
do this
get
with
there.
him on Galaga.
Actually, Jagger's really good at that. So if he can come out here, we have 17-year-old Jagger and show him how to hit 2 mil on Galaga.
See, so I can set a world record and Jagger's going to break it eventually. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, we need him here. Jagger had family requirements. He's in town, but sadly he could not make it out, which is really unfortunate. He's been playing here since he was 13 or 12.
My brother just said I taught you everything I know. Yeah, sure, Daryl. Sure, we'll go with that.
Definitely that last game.
Yeah, exactly, the last game.